What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with Dean Sutton, co-founder, chief strategy officer, and director of Wonderfi Technologies. It's a pleasure to have you on. Dean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Aaron, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we've interviewed Kong, Ben, and you're finally here. So I'm excited to be chatting. Can you give us a brief update on Wonderfi and tell us everything that you've been up to since this is the first time we're speaking? But yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Well, in a nutshell, we've pretty much just been busy executing, and you're familiar with obviously the BitBuy acquisition and the Coinberry acquisition. So a lot of our efforts in the past little while have really been around like the development and the integration of those two businesses. So when you're integrating a company, obviously that's where there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of things that you have to unpack, and there's a lot of opportunities in those acquisitions and at the integration point as well. So what we've really done is we've taken a really good look at each business and how it operates both in isolation and then how it can operate collectively as a whole. And we've really been successful in finding a lot of cost synergies basically between the different businesses. And you've spoken to Kong, so you kind of see how we approach things from a technology perspective and the deep expertise there. So we've really taken a deep dive into the teams, the technology, the systems, the operations, how they all operate. And we've been really successful in being able to figure out how we can improve things. And, when each business operates in isolation, you can just imagine similar businesses, similar industries. There's a lot of stuff on the back end that we've had the ability to either combine or create some shared resources around, team collaboration, both on how we're developing and securing things. There's been a lot of opportunities there. The teams have come together really well, which has been really cool to see. And we're just continuing to implement a lot of the things that we found as opportunities from the development, the marketing, and then basically like the DevOps, the security, and just like the backend systems for each. So there's a lot to still do on those, but we've just been very busy in bringing all the pieces together and basically give both the businesses some improved resources, but then just make sure that they're both on a really good track to continue to grow independently as well.
That's great. So the most recent news, Blockchain Foundry entered into a definitive agreement to be acquired by Wonderfi. This is exciting news. Can you tell us more about this acquisition and how the company fits into the Wonderfi ecosystem and kind of like where this came from, I guess?
Yeah. So the Blockchain Foundry deal, it's an all stock deal that brings cash, IP, and complementary assets to our balance sheet, basically. So the Foundry team, they're a great team that's been operating in the space for a number of years. They've got some deep domain expertise, which is obviously critically important when you're looking at what kind of assets and IP is there. But the way that we kind of look at this is that the platforms and IP that they've generated is really complementary to the ecosystem approach that Wonderfi has. So when we look at CeFi and DeFi, and we look at exchanges in Web3, and creating bridges in between those in a compliant way that allow users in that ecosystem to be able to access more and do more. We think that the platforms and stuff that has been built from the Foundry side are going to be pretty complementary into that ecosystem. And you can see that some of the stuff they have around NFTs or bridges, it just really fits well into the forward-looking areas of the business that we think are going to be a part of the ecosystem at large going forward. So it made sense for a bunch of different reasons for us. And, we're excited to dig into that and get that one across the line and see how we can not just, get things integrated there as well, but how do we compound that value and actually unlock more value given the additional resources that Wonderfi has. And I think that there's some things in there that we think is pretty opportune. And I think on the other side of it too, it really solidifies Wonderfi as a Canadian leader in the digital asset industry in general. I mean, it's showing that we've got a core capability to identify these creative opportunities and get them done. And every time we bring something new into the umbrella, the sum of all of its parts make a bigger whole. And our view from the operational side is, how do we take each individual operating entity, sharpen each one, but compound it all by making it connect with other pieces of the ecosystem so people can, again, just kind of do more, access more, all from the same same position. And, I think it also proves from a business standpoint too, I think it proves that, we can and will advance regardless of market conditions. There's some things with market conditions that made this easier, but, on other sides, it's tough when markets are down a little bit from this industry standpoint, but it just shows that we're gonna move forward, and no matter what, we continue to just get things done and try to be very selective, do the right things, and yeah, we're excited for this third one.
Yeah, it's great to see. And strictly from like a shareholder perspective, because a lot of my viewers are investors, how does this acquisition create shareholder value, would you say?
Yeah, I think you can look at it from the Foundry side or from the Wonderfi side, but I think it brings value because, first and foremost, when you acquire IP and additional platforms, sometimes when these businesses in this space, when they operate in isolation, it's hard to kind of penetrate critical mass or get a lot of adoption and volume through these platforms. So I think we can unlock value when we bring something, not that it's nascent, but if it's not exposed to like our user base, as an example, we have the ability to get more out of something by integrating it to a larger user base. So when we bring more value and more functionality to an existing user base, that value tends to be shared and it helps us attract more users. So I think that the net value of everything is just going to be users in our ecosystem can look at what they can do. They can see how much more they can do, and they can see how things are just kind of getting better and they're becoming more robust. And I think that's just going to help us attract more as we move forward.
That makes a lot of sense. So, we know Wonderfi is targeting a NASDAQ uplisting and recently uplisted to the TSX main index. Can you give us any updates on your progress when it comes to that? I know that's like something exciting that a lot of my viewers are chatting about all the time.
Yeah. So late August, we announced the submission of the listing application. And yeah, I mean, it's a lengthy process and it's subject to approvals and whatnot, but we're a publicly traded technology company, and it's no secret that NASDAQ is kind of the highest level playing field for companies in our asset class. So at this point, we've even if it does take many months, we've taken that first step towards doing it. We've got an incredible CFO, an incredible chief legal officer that are really helping us get all these pieces put together while the business side just continues to do what we're doing. And I think that move, it's obviously important to our overall expansion plans into the US, but also internationally. I think that stage is very important for us and any business that does it. And also, I think it's going to help us attract more institutional and retail investors, really. And, at the end of the day, like net of everything else, I think that just will really help us bring value to the shareholders. And that's kind of, what we're here to do.
Definitely. I'm excited to cover that. So, what are some of the major catalysts that investors and prospective shareholders should be looking out for in the near term?
Yeah. So, I mean, catalyst, BitBuy was a catalyst, Coinberry was a catalyst, Foundry is a catalyst, and NASDAQ is a catalyst. I mean, we're far from done, but those are all exciting, and they take a lot of effort, and they're all well underway. But I think a major catalyst for us is we're just continuing to execute and build the business, build the overall ecosystem and the footprint that we have. So one catalyst that we've spoken about for some time is we continue to be intentional and look at opportunities for us to expand internationally and bring BitBuy and Coinberry and our brands into new licensed jurisdictions. So that's something that I think that's in the category of catalyst events, and we're really actively moving on that. I feel like it's going to help us compound all of our efforts that we've done to date. And we're always basically looking to improve and expand and get more effective. We're always looking at how we can bring more value to a growing user base that we're building every day. And on top of that, like Foundry is an example, we're always looking at accretive opportunities in this industry. And we've developed Wonderfi in the position that we're in as our hard fought efforts every day that kind of lead us towards seeing more opportunities in this space. And right now it is a good time. It's a tough time in the market, but as we know, all tough times lead to some unique scenarios and some unique situations. So our team has obviously shown that we're acutely tapped into that. We're maintaining a good pipeline of opportunities. We never kind of put a blind eye to that space at all. And I think at the end of the day, it's standing strong when the markets are changing, and there's some impacts that other companies in our space have seen. We've demonstrated that we can stand strong, just do the right things, continue to build and grow and advance and improve in all the areas that we can, and just continue to move forward. So we kind of know what our ethos is of doing things the right way. And in some ways, especially in crypto, there's ways that you can, be a little bit more aggressive and pursue lending and returns and things like that. But, we've always maintained the level of, security for users. So people can really rely on us for what we do and what we offer. And I think that's really given us a good position to continue to grow in the space. It's, winning the race at the end of the day is something that's really important to us, and continue to move forward. So I think where we stand now, what we've done to date, and what we're able to do and what we aim to do over the next 12, 24 months, I think it presents a pretty compelling picture.
Yeah, that's great. So there are a lot of moving pieces in the Wonderfi ecosystem, as we know. If you had to pick one thing, what are you most excited about in the near term?
Yeah. Going back to what we said before, I think, I was really excited about BitBuy, and I was really excited about Coinberry. I am excited about NASDAQ and Foundry. So there's those individual pieces that are really exciting. But I think if I take a step back and look at what's the most exciting thing in the future, I think I probably speak for the team as well, but just like speaking for myself, I think just continuing to build Wonderfi into a giant in our industry. We're kind of a business that makes no small plans. So the general pursuit that we're after, what we're targeting to build this business into is something that is the most exciting. So I think it gets all of us excited when we get up every day, because, we see what's happening in this space. We see, how this overall sector is going to grow and be a part of, the economy going forward. And, we're just excited to continue to look at the playing field and look at the map and just build this into the biggest business that we can. There's a lot of efforts around organic growth. Each individual business has its own opportunities. That's exciting. And then there's the non-organic that you can just bolt on top of that stuff as well. But, at the end of the day, it's an exciting journey and process, because we know where we're going. But most importantly, I would say it's the team that we have too. I think, I'm biased, but I say I think our team is the best in the game. A really, really strong group of incredible people, and we've proven what we can do and what we execute, and how we're kind of continuing on. So, we know where we're going. We've got the right people to do it. There's a lot changing in this ever-changing space for sure. And I think we still kind of view ourselves as just getting started.
Wonderful. So, where should investors go for more information on the company?
Yeah. I mean, the main thing is just our website, wonder.fi. There's a place that anyone can sign up for. You can see all the news and the updates, but you can also sign up to that email list. And then through social. So we're Wonderfi on Twitter and Instagram, and we've got, content we try to put out and update people on regularly. And obviously there's contact forms and stuff too, if anyone ever wants to get in touch that way.
Well, thank you, Dean. It was a pleasure. Thanks for all those updates. I'm sure my community will appreciate it. And hopefully we can have you back on at some point.
Would love it. Thanks for taking the time.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below, along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.